Fall camp is underway for the Tar Heels, and the question we're all wondering, is it going to be Conner Harrell or Max Johnson?
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, what's up? It's Tuesday, August 6, 2024. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Shea, joined today by our guide, Denora Searcy, and you're joining us at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making us your first listen or watch, and we want to send a special shout out to all the everydayers out there and all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. In the dog days of summer, the sports stop sportsing like we want them to, but this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk about how we're right in the midst of fall camp for the Tar Heels. We're going to talk about position battles, what those look like. We're going to just talk about like a day in the life of camp, what it looks like, the ups and the downs. And then going to ask Searcy to share some of his memories from camps, because obviously there's a bunch of them rattling around in that brain up there. Also, Searcy, I wanted to ask you this right off the top. We're in the midst of the Olympics right now. I'm an Olympics geek. I just watch as much as I can. Same. And I think the next Summer Olympics in LA, there's going to be flag football. Here's my question to you. Could you get out there and do it still, 4 years from now when we're like, 43, 44? Would you have that in you?
Well, in 4 years, I'll be 40. Well, if it's the Summer Olympics, I'll be 39.
Okay.
I want to turn 40 to after the Olympics. So, yeah, hey, man, it's flag football. That's like 7-on-7. I don't have to run that far. I don't have to tackle nobody. I just got to pull the flag. If the ball thrown to me, just catch it. If I'm on defense, I get a chance to get an interception. I get an interception, yeah.
All right, man, let's get it. Okay, outside of that, what is your favorite Summer Olympic sport to dive in on? What are you watching right now during the Olympics?
Of course, basketball. Swimming. I like watching. I don't watch gymnastics like that, but I watch like the weird stuff you don't see every day on TV. Like I watch water polo.
Yes, dude, that's tough.
Right. I watch indoor volleyball, soccer. I definitely watch soccer, men's and women. That's of course track and field. You got to see the sprinters in action and whatnot. So those my top.
I love it, man. Yeah, I'm right with you. Let's get into all that fun stuff. Okay, sirs, Let's talk football here. I think the thing that, at least outside looking in, the thing that people are most curious about this fall camp is this Conner Harrell or Max Johnson conversation. And I want to talk about position battles, specifically that one, but then kind of in general. And so I think as we look at it, the question is Harrell or Johnson, or maybe some combination of both for Mac Brown this year. Both were at ACC kickoff a couple weeks ago representing the Tar Heels. And so I'm curious to you, as you think about this, how do you see that playing out? I know you and I have talked about that some already this offseason, but just where are you kind of at with it today?
I still believe it's a good chance we may see Conner Harrell. He may be on a short rope just to see how things goes. Because as I said, Max Johnson got more experience than Conner. Conner, of course, played in a few games, and then he started the bowl game with Drake sitting out and whatnot. But then also you got Jacolby Criswell. Criswell is just transferred back, so he's a guy that can fit in if those two don't pan out. So we have a three-headed horse race right now, because it ain't like Jacolby is brand new. He's been here before, so he's coming back, which I thought was pretty interesting because he transferred away, but he chose to come back. So that could intensify the QB room as well.
Yeah, and I mean, let's remember 2 years ago this time, Jacolby and Drake took it all the way down to game week for game one before Coach Brown named Drake ultimately the starter. I mean, do you see any world in which, barring injury, knock on wood, that Jacolby could supplant other of those two guys?
It's possible. Like I was there to witness him and Drake Maye competing every day in practice, and it's whoever's able to stay consistent and whoever could build that trust with the coach, and then whoever's teammates, they can see who can lead the team and at that position, because that's the most important part. You know, your QB is your franchise. That's why everybody tries to find that one guy. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be pretty interesting to see. The thing about it that the college football has the NFL don't has is preseason. So it like you get a couple of games before you get into the actual season to see who your quarterback's going to be. So I'm thinking Conner, but it's going to be a close race though.
Yeah, and even with there's no preseason games, and this team's jumping right into the fire heading up to Minnesota. It's not like you ease in with like a FCS school or anything like that. Right. So it's like you got to be ready right out of the gate with this thing. And so Absolutely. That's going to be interesting.
Right. But again, it's good to have three guys with some experience.
That's right.
Since you're going straight into a proven opponent. I mean, Minnesota's not no slouch. They may not be as strong as Ohio State, Michigan in their conference, but they can still put up numbers.
Let me ask you this, Norris. How much, I think outside looking in, it's hard for us to know how much in these position battles, just even in general, how do you balance like, hey, we're supporting one another? Like I think back to the ACC kickoff when both Max Johnson and Conner Harrell were talking about like, hey, we're supporting each other. We're in this together. We're learning from each other versus this is my position. I'm going to go out and take this because I'm that guy. How do you balance that well?
It's about having confidence in yourself. I mean, yes, you want to support the next guy. You understand. I know from my point of view, I understood like we're both here to compete for a job. We're both here to compete for a spot. Eventually, my end game was to get to the NFL. So I knew like the more I could prove to the coaches that I could be trusted. Yes, I want the guy behind me or who I'm competing with to do good as well, just in case, like you said, barring injury, I don't want to let the team down. I want to be weak in no position. But still, at the end of the day, you want to be out on the field. You want to prove yourself. So most of these guys, like I was, they want to get to the next level, which is the National Football League. So the more you could be seen on film, the better odds and chances you get drafted. So yeah, you want to support your teammate, but at the end of the day, we're fighting for position.
Yeah. How, like from other players on the team, is it feeling neck and neck typically, or is it pretty obvious and apparent who's leading the way in position battles? Like, let's go back to the Drake and Jacolby battle 2 years ago. Like, was it pretty obvious to others looking at it that it was going to be Drake, or was it hard to know?
Well, for me, it was kind of obvious because certain throws on routes, Drake was making all the throws. Some of the routes, Jacolby was missing, or it'd be because they run the same play. So you may come in for the first rack of 6, they're gonna re-rack it because it's a new group. So they want to see who can deliver, who could be consistent every rep that they take. And then at that time, that position battle, it was Drake. So that's why leading up in the camp, the coaches went with Drake, and you see how that turned out. So I believe that's how it goes. Who can be the most consistent, who can continue to get better each and every day? Because now that you're in camp, kids, it's all about football. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody else on campus but them and the squirrel. So all football, no classes right now. So it's about honing in on your craft and getting better every day.
What level of it is the guy like who handles the pressure of that position battle better? Because I know I think back to high school and I'm battling a dude for the starting center field position or something. And it's like I know some guys can let the mental side of that get to them instead of just going out and playing. So right. How is it like, is some level of it, the guy who handles the mental side of it more capably than the other?
Absolutely. Because it's pressure involved, especially when you're the quarterback. Everybody sees you. You touch the ball every play, unless it's maybe a trick play, the Philly special something. But if you're going to handle the rock 98% of the time. So whoever shows that confidence, whoever who could block out the mental and just, like I said, keep being consistent and get better, and who can earn, the trust of the coach and the command of the team as the leader, that's what's going to win the job.
Norris, outside of the quarterback battle, which I think is the most public, the one that most of the public has their eyes on, Are there any other like under the radar position battles you're kind of keeping your eye on during fall camp, specifically for the Tar Heels?
I would say the inside backer job left by Said. Now, Amare is a pretty dope player. He made strides. He did good when he started it against Oregon. But since he's young, they want to know, can he continue to be consistent? And then there's guys behind him that can play as well. So I know they feel pretty good about him because he already gained his experience. He didn't redshirt his freshman year. He played on special teams. At times when we had blowout big leagues, he got in and got some reps, and then he made plays in the bowl game when he got in in replacement of Sid. So I would say, as long as he keeps showing improvement and he keeps showing his growth, his ability to keep making plays, he'll be starting linebacker beside Power Echols.
And that could be another dynamic duo at that linebacking core for the Tar Heels. Excited to see that this year. Really excited for Power to get to step up and kind of be the leader of that unit.
Absolutely. And you want to see who's going to replace Power, because this could be Power's last year.
That's absolutely correct. And you got to be able to work that in.
So you want to see who could be able to fill in and play next to Amare once Power leaves, because that's all it is just reloading.
Yeah. Man, reload. Let's not have to rebuild. Now, we want to get inside of Denoris's mind. What's it like to experience fall camp, the ups and the downs? And I'm also curious to ask, who is typically ahead, the offense or the defense? We'll get to all that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about eBay Motors, passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits to LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed or power or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back. Why? Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. It's only available to U.S. customers. Thanks so much for joining us here today on Locked On Tar Heels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Carolina is going to be playing Minnesota in week 1. Go check out our great show over at Locked On Golden Gophers. Now, Denoris, would you, as we just think about fall camp, just take us through a typical day? And man, would just love to hear what it's like going through that grind.
Got you. So typically there's we just stay in the dorms. They come on the hallways with this big loud foghorn to wake everybody up. They blast it in everybody's suite, typically room with, DBs all in one section, linebackers in one section, receivers, running backs, everybody, you share a room and whatnot. So man, it's a grind. You get up around about 6:30, you eat breakfast. First meeting is probably at 7 or 8:30. You got meetings. I hated those days, man. Like I hated the meetings. I love the days when we just get up and go straight to practice. Like, just let me go get tape and then go to practice, and we could meet at the practice. But I love those days when I could just get up and just go straight and play football. But you have team meeting, special teams meeting. Then you got offensive, defensive meetings. Oh my God! Then you head out to practice. At the practice, you practice about 2 hours. Come back in for lunch. You may have like a 2-3 hour break. Then you're back in meetings. Another team meeting, another special teams meeting, another offensive, defensive meeting. Then you may have an individual meeting. And depending on what all you cover that day at practice, typically I have coaches that they want to see every cut up because they want to coach every kid that's in there. So whether you're on the first team, third or fourth team, we're gonna watch everybody's cut-ups because he wants to go over everybody's technique and just everybody be coached. So you typically get done around about 10 o'clock. Bed check is probably like 11.
And that's a day.
Yeah, then 6 a.m. Foghorn again. It's like you got to go at it. But I used to love it because I didn't have to go. I didn't have to go. Like I said, I didn't have to go to class. I could just hang with the boys. kick nonsense, go play football, just only focus on football and try to just get better, man. Like try to find my way on the field, stay on the field, That's a typical day. But I know when I was there, we used to have 2 days. So sometimes we used to practice in the morning, and then practice in the morning like 7:30, and then we'll probably practice that evening around about 7, 8 o'clock, which was cool because we'd be out on the practice field or in the stadium, and they cut the lights on and whatnot.
That's fun.
So simulate the atmosphere a little bit, minus the fans and whatnot. But it was typical. It was fun to me. I enjoyed the grind. I didn't want to be nowhere else. I mean, I knew I was at home, I wasn't gonna be doing anything. So I there with the guys, man, just getting to know guys and hanging out, man. That's how you build team camaraderie, because you're there all day with each other. Like I said, it's just us and the squirrels, cafeteria people. That's it, and the coaches. And you put that time in. You put that time in and try to get better, try to push towards winning a championship. So I just love it.
In a year like this, where the Tar Heels are working in a new coordinator, specifically Jeff Collins on the defensive side, how different is that to kind of learn who he's going to be and what he's going to do? I know, he was already there for spring camp, for spring football, so there was already that side of it. But how different is it working in a new coordinator in a fall camp scenario?
Well, they already kind of got open to them and doing the spring ball, so it's just fine tuning. They may not have put that many plays in during the spring, just let them get accustomed to just a few. But I believe that since it's in fall camp, he's going to open up the whole playbook because they got more time to learn. Like they got more time to learn. You got more time to teach guys. Guys don't have to go to, like I said, guys don't have to go to class. It's just all football for 2 weeks. It's just all football. So it's kind of like being in the NFL because you just work towards that goal. So I believe he will probably add more. See what the guys can handle, see who fits better where, because then after about a couple of weeks, then you got to start putting together the roster and the depth chart. Who's going to play where, who fits where, who's going to be able to contribute.
Speaking of working in with new people, Searcy, I know we've got a bunch of guys that are early enrollees that come in the spring semester and they're able to participate in spring football. But then there's a whole crop of freshmen that come in the summer, and this is their first time joining the team. Man, just how hard is it for them to get caught up to speed with everybody else?
Yeah, it could be tough. I mean, I was a summer
right.
enrollee, but like I said, the best thing they have going, they did a little summer school, but then they got to jump right into football. So that's when I was able to catch up, able to learn. I realized I had a long way to go because I didn't even understand what like personnel groups was. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand the different, the grammars and the word terminologies and whatnot. So it was a big adjustment for me, but I was able to like take it slow. I had like good older guys, that was able to like help me out, bring me up to speed. My freshman year, my roommate was Deontay Williams, who already had a good grasp on the playbook, so I was able to go over stuff with him at night because it may be questions I was kind of nervous to ask in the meeting room. Because we had Chuck Pagano, man, and he was a former NFL coach, so he was tough on me those first couple of days at practice because he wanted me to get it, he wanted me to learn, but I wasn't learning it fast enough for him, and then I had to go and like actually sit and talk to him, like coach, this is the first time I'm hearing any of this like that. I was never taught these terminologies and formations and things of that nature in high school. Like I was just pretty much a guy that give me the ball and get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Or get on defense and play linebacker, just chase the ball. That's all I did. You know what I'm saying? So he understood. So we would meet at night I would stay behind at the individual meetings and learn with him. And then I'll also get more insight from Deontay when I got back to the dorm room. So that allowed me to catch up. And things started to slow down for me better. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't the speed. It wasn't the speed of guys on the field that I had trouble with when I came in during the summer. It was taking the terminology from the book and putting it on the field and being able to communicate it. You know what I'm saying? So that was my big adjustment. But after the first week, I was good to go. I was making plays. I was making calls. Sometimes I still make the wrong call, but I make a call. You know what I'm saying? Like, because one thing Coach Pagano said, like, somebody just make a call. If we all wrong, we're right. And I was like, what does that mean? He said He was like, even if somebody make the wrong call, if we all play it, we're right. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, cool, like, you know. So it was great to have him, a former NFL coach, as my first year defensive coordinator, because I got to learn so much. So that's I would say that's the biggest adjustment. But you know, today's game, a lot of kids already know these terminologies and things of that nature coming into college. So they just may have to. Some of the terminologies may be worded different from them because it may come from high school where a certain phrase may mean something in their defense in high school, but it don't mean the same thing in this defense in college. So that's the only thing they have to be open to and understand.
But the high school schemes are advanced enough now where it's not learning a bunch of that. It's just flipping the words and knowing
right.
What to do. Yeah.
Right. So like when I was in high school, like I would say 6 of my 10 opponents in the regular season ran wing T. So it's same thing on formation unless we blowing them out, then they gotta try to open up and pass it. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you know, 4 of the teams that would run a traditional pro style offense or a spread offense, you know, but even then it would just get to the
ball. So, Searcy, let me ask you this about fall camp. Who is typically ahead earlier, the offense or the defense? Like, who gets up to speed more quickly?
I would say the offense. Because the offense, their game plan, their plays are typically designed to beat whatever defense we're in. We have to play the defense and play technique, fundamentals, and if we can make a play on the ball. But they typically, the offense, which I didn't find out until like my junior year, from riding the car with TJ Yates, man. He was like, "Oh yeah, we already know what y'all in. We just gotta
execute." Yeah.
Right. I sat there like, what the hell? Like, well, that's whack. You know what I'm saying? Because we play against it. We get a defense and we react to the formations and whatnot. But they know breaking the huddle, we're gonna be in this coverage, we're gonna be in this, you know what I'm saying? Now they have to read it. We have to be good at showing disguises, because sometimes we can still fool the offense, but typically the offense has the upper hand going into camp.
Makes sense. Now, our man Searcy has been around a minute. He's got a bunch of personal memories from fall camps. We're going to ask him to take us inside that head and share some of those memories, and we'll do that coming up in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel. Man, I love sports. Obviously, Searcy loves sports, and we never want them to stop. But in these dog days of summer, we get fewer games, just typically Major League Baseball games, which we love. But thankfully right now, there's also the Olympics going on. But FanDuel, here's the good news. They let you keep the sports going whenever you want. All you got to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime you're in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. How about this? A couple weeks ago, Searcy and I took FanDuel's over-under odds for Carolina's win total. It's set at 7.5. We projected way up above that 7.5 wins. If you want to get in on that action or anything else Carolina related or beyond, go visit FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. We're going to wrap up our conversation about fall camp today by just asking Searcy to share some personal memories with us. So, Searcy, I'm just going to open it up and say, man, just tell us some stories.
Man, I got plenty.
I'll just cut you off when it's time to be done.
One of my greatest moments I used to have at camp, we used to always we used to horseplay in the locker room. We'd be like DBs against receivers. DBs would get everybody. Like, only time I didn't like wrestling in the locker room was when like Kendrick Burney used to go pick a fight with the D lineman. And then he, he'll call us over to help, and I just get mad. I'm like, bro, three of the D linemen wrestled in high school, and we finna go over here. First off, they outweigh us all, and we finna go in and pick a fight with them. So man, it was crazy. Robert Quinn, 3-time state champion. He ended up pinning everybody, pinned me. Man, and like everybody was just mad at Kendrick that day because Kendrick was like, we can't we can't fight them. We got to be on the same team with the D line. So that was one of the greatest. That was one of the good memories of being in the locker room. Or we used to horseplay around. Sometimes we used to like get into it with the receivers. I remember that's when I first found out how strong Hakeem Nicks was, because He was holding two of the DBs in the headlock. I'm like, man, he got old man strength. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, just being around the guys rapping in the players' lounge or doing the breaks. NCAA was still out, so guys was playing NCAA in the players' lounge doing breaks and whatnot. Just being around the guys is my fondest memory. And I remember another crazy thing that happened. It was a hawk out there sitting on one of the lights when we was out there practicing in the morning. And when we got done, it'll sit on the light, it'll fly off and circle around the field, then it come sit back on another light, and then like we was looking at it because we knew it was looking for something to eat. And man, it found something because we was coming back across the stadium drive to get to Cade, and he swooped down past us and grabbed this squirrel and kept going. I only seen stuff like that on National Geographic. You know what I'm saying? So like this it was crazy. Like, but some of the guys had seen it before. It was from the country, so they was like, man, we see that all the time in the country. And I was like, well, I'm a city kid. I don't see that. I just see that on TV. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty cool. But a lot of my fondest memories just came from just interacting with the guys, man. Just being around guys from different backgrounds, learning a new teammate every year, because I was cool with everybody. I just didn't hang out with one side of the ball or just hang out with the position group. I hung out with the walk-ons. Yeah, I didn't matter. As long as you was my teammate, you was my teammate. You know what I mean? I treated everybody the same. So that was a cool memory. And then like every now and then Butch Davis would invite somebody from the one of his former players from the NFL to come out. So I think we had like Leon Lett came out to practice one time. Marty Schottenheimer came out to practice one time. Stuart Scott, rest in peace, Stuart Scott came out to practice one time, and that was crazy. That was crazy meeting him. It was wild, man. Then one of the coaches got called out by one of our linebacker coaches got called out by one of the linebackers on a kickoff drill. And the coach was like, yeah, I beat you down there. And then we was at full pass. He was like, you got a full pass. I beat you down there. So they took off running. They on the kickoff drill. Coach got about 20 yards and pulled his hamstring. and then one of our strength coaches was chasing the guy. Like, I think we started one morning practice. We started like lackadaisical. And our strength coach started yelling at folks, and like one guy was like kind of like half-assing it back to the line. So like strength coach like ran at him to like get him to hustle. And when he ran at him to get him to hustle, pulled his hamstring. He fell. I was like, oh my God. It took everything in me not to laugh because I was. But it was crazy. It was crazy. Like the epic battles we used to have. Like we didn't have too many fights because if you get to fighting out there on the field, whoever got into the fight, they would make you hold hands and take a lap around the whole field. He'll tell one of the cameramen to record it, and then they'll play it in the team meeting later on that day. So that took out a lot of fighting. But one-on-ones was very competitive. Inside run was very competitive. Certain drills, like we would have 2-minute drill was competitive. If they score, we had gashers. If we got to stop, offense had gashers. Or our goal was to get 3 turnovers a day. 3 turnovers. We had to get 3 turnovers a day, no matter how we got them. If you get an interception in one-on-one, that's a turnover. You cause a fumble, an inside run, collision with a running back. Turnover. So we get 3. I go with 3 a day. The ball is the issue. That was our calling as a whole defense. The ball is the issue. At the end of the day, we want the ball. So that always intensified it. Of course, when Butch Davis said this live, we used to go crazy because finally we get to take some heads off.
Yes.
First couple of days of practice, receivers talking junk because everybody in helmets, so they make a catch in traffic. You like, man, we couldn't hit you, and they be like, I still would have caught it. We put the pads on.
It's gonna get different.
Not as much chirping. Like we wouldn't blast them, but we'll throw a shoulder in there every now and then. I know me and Deontay damn sure did. We'll throw a shoulder in there every now and then, knock them on the ground, just let them know we was there. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'd have hit you full speed, you might have not would have caught that one. But It was always competitive, man. It was all competitive. We always dap each other up after practice. It was just good camaraderie. Those are things like you miss when you're done.
Yeah.
Just the locker room. And when I got to the NFL, it was the same thing. The guys in the NFL, when they done, we always say we miss two things: locker room and payday. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. So I just had a blast. Those are some of my fondest memories. I got more, but although it was time we got, but it was crazy. That's crazy. And that junior year when I found out TJ them knew our defenses had the time, I picked them off that training camp too. I told them it was a crazy play. I had to lay out. I had to lay out. Caught the ball, I landed like on my stomach, and all the air came out of me. I was out for like 3 plays, and then I came back in.
Worth it though. Worth it.
Worth it. Yeah, absolutely, it was worth it, man. I had a blast with those guys.
I would have got up, even though I couldn't breathe, ran and just dropped the ball into TJ's hands and say,
I did. Well, I didn't really drop it in his hands. When I landed and rolled, I got up and like showed him I had it. You know what I'm saying? I went back down to a knee. I said, oh God.
Once that adrenaline wore off, you were done.
What?
Oh, that's incredible. You guys, great memories from Searcy. It's funny, in this day and age, now even the college players can say they miss the locker room and payday. What's up, NIL?
Oh, yeah.
We thank you for that. So, you guys, as we get now closer and closer to the season, obviously we'll have lots more opportunities to talk with Searcy, and we'll get towards game days. And, man, it's going to crank up a whole new level. We can't wait.
Yeah.
So, buckle up, folks. It is, what is today? August the 6th. That means we are 23 days away from the first game. That's hard to believe, but it is coming. All right, you all, if you haven't subscribed to the show, please do so on audio and video. It'll help make sure you don't miss a second. Yes, love that. If you're not part of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community, man, you're missing out on a great time where we're having conversations literally all day long, every day. It's a great and safe place to be for Tar Heel fans. And so we'd love to have you come. It's free to join, and the link is in the show notes. I always say, come for the Tar Heels, stay for the community. All right, we want to say it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll be back with you tomorrow, but until then,
peace.
Peace.